This week on Hairstyles Are Littletrouble, we have Susan's top 10 hair care tips. Hey everybody, welcome to Hairstyles Are Littletrouble. This week we don't actually have a real hairstyle. I just thought I would do some hair tips for you guys because, you know, if you don't have healthy hair, doing hairstyles, you know, they're not going to look as nice. You really want to have good, thick, healthy hair. Well, if your hair is naturally thin, of course, we can't do anything to make it thick, but it can look better if you take proper care of it. So, I thought I would give you my top 10 hints for good, healthy hair. The first one being limit teasing. I have a friend who is a beautician. Actually, I have several friends. But this one girl I was talking to about teasing, and she said, you can't do it regularly because it is very hard on your hair. And if you do have to do it, what you should do is you should be very gentle. You shouldn't. Now, some people I've seen, when they tease, they just like rub it up and down as fast as they can. Do not do that. That will ruin your hair very fast. You only have to do that once, and it'll completely destroy your hair, probably. So, what you do is you just gently go up and down very, very slowly with it, because that limits the friction and the damage that's going to be done to your hair from teasing. Naturally, any way you tease is going to hurt your hair over time. Any kind of friction is bad for your hair. So you want to limit it as much as possible. And actually this leads into our next point, number 2, being go slowly. When you style your hair, there's no rush. Provide plenty of time in advance for whatever you're doing the hairstyle for, because the faster you go, the more likely you're going to break your hair, you're more likely you're going to just cause added friction, and which will cause your hair to break in time. So be very slow, very careful, very gentle with your hair, because hair is very, very fragile, and it just doesn't take too well to rough treatment. Number 3 is avoid metal. On hair bands, a lot of hair bands have a little metal band on it. Now, probably most of you girls know this already, but I thought it was important to say it. Try to get these kinds of hair bands. I found the best ones that work are the ones that have this little roll on them. They don't look quite as nice, and I've only been able to find them in black, and you know, sometimes you want pretty colors in your hair bands, but these things last an eternity. I bought like a whole package of these, and I have yet to have to replace one. I think the only time I've replaced it was when I lost it. I've never had to just throw one out because it lost its stretchy. So these things last for a very long time. I've had them for years. So that's what I definitely recommend for that. Number 4 is trim split ends. Now this seems like a no-brainer, but I know some girls are like, well, I only get my hair cut certain times of the year. If your hair looks terrible, trim it. I don't care if you just got it cut last month. Trim it. Trust me, your hair is not going to grow fast if you have split ends. Split ends means that the hair is dead, and it's really not going to go anywhere after it's split. You really need to trim it and get it to be better, because you know, when you're growing your hair out, your first thought is, oh, never cut my hair, because then it's going to take forever. It's better to trim your hair, because in the long run it will grow faster, because hair that's not dead is going to, you know, go somewhere. Number 5, washing your hair. When you wash your hair, try to wash the scalp really well, because what will happen is you'll have residue on your hair. Now, there's another way to take care of that other than washing, but we're not going to go into that in this video. But when you wash your hair, make sure you get the scalp. Get all the junk and stuff off, because if you don't get it off, by the time it comes for you to wash your hair again, you're going to be doing one of these numbers all the time. Yeah, you know, not very pleasant. So, number 6. This is the beginning of our do nots. We have 3 do nots for hair washing. The first one is do not pile. When you wash your hair, when you put in the shampoo, start at the roots and then slowly rub it down to the bottom. Do not grab your hair and pile it on top of your head and then do that. That will knot your hair, and it will be a nightmare to get out. You will break so many ends, and yeah, just don't go there. Very bad idea. Now, when you're drying your hair, you have to be very careful with that too. Do not wring your hair out. That is very bad for it. Too much friction. And do not rub your hair either with your towel. That is very bad for it as well. that both of those will cause so much trouble for your hair. Just don't do it. Okay? And number 8, do not brush your hair when it's wet. Just don't do it. No, it is very, very bad. Because even though your brush may seem, oh, so good at getting out all the tangles, your hair when it's wet is more elasticy, and when you brush it, it causes it to stretch and become really fragile. Actually, when your hair is wet, it's at its most fragile state because it's so elastic. It stretches and gets very easily damaged. So just don't brush your hair when it's wet. I recommend using a large detangler comb to get the tangles out, and what you can even do is before you wash it is brush your hair. That's what I like to do, because then it cuts down on the tangles, and if you wash your hair correctly, you shouldn't have to worry about getting more tangles in it from the washing. Number 9, oils are good for you. Any kind of oil, really. Natural oil. Oil, whether it's a heated oil treatment that you do or just a bottle of oil that you put in your hair. I recommend like coconut oil or jasmine oil. I've never tried coconut oil, but I heard it's very good for your hair. I have used jasmine oil though, and it's really nice, makes a nice smell, and it's good and healthy for your hair. So, and number 10 is, this one's going to shock you, okay? Get ready for it. Eat lots of raisins. I know it's not a favorite fruit. A lot of people I know can't stand raisins, but it's better than taking a vitamin supplement. It's a more natural way of getting it because raisins have vitamin E in it, and that helps with your hair and your nails. But I will warn you, if you eat lots of raisins, be prepared to cut your nails regularly, because when I was eating a bunch of raisins, my nails needed to be cut like once every week and a half, sometimes more often than that. So yeah, it really does a good job. I have tried eating raisins, and my hair grew very fast, and it was very, very healthy. And I stopped doing it, and my hair isn't so healthy anymore, so I very recommend you're doing it. I'm going to try to get back into it. It's very good for your hair. Probably one of the best things you can do for your hair. So yeah, there we have it. There are top 10 tips for good hair care. I hope to see you next week. Y'all have a great day, great week, and remember, getting the perfect hairstyle is little trouble.